Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and these are the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for the month of March. Granted, we're in March already, it's March 2nd over here, but that's because last week was GAMA and I was running a little late on a variety of things while at the GAMA trade show. That said, we're here, it's now, we're ready. These are the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for the month of March, although as usual before we dive into this, regular reminder to go ahead and subscribe to Adam from Shelf Clutter. You see, I do these videos once a month, which means several things. First of all, in order to make it a manageable length and not to overload you with information, I don't cover every single campaign, rather I cover the campaigns that I think will have the most general interest. And then additionally, because it's at the beginning of the month only, or end of the prior month, whichever one it ends up being, it also means that I only have the information that I possibly can have now. I don't have all the campaigns that will be added, I don't have the news of which campaigns got pushed off, and which dates got changed, all of that, and Adam does these videos every single week, which means he has all the things that I don't. He has more campaigns because he's covering them weekly, he has the most up-to-date information, and you can go ahead and subscribe to his channel to go ahead and get caught up to all of that. Speaking of which, I will have links down below to Adam down below, as well as to all the campaigns we are covering today. With that, we can go ahead and start ourselves off, starting off with Smol Batl. Oh, I should also note, we generally go through these in rough order throughout the month, so we have a March 3rd campaign over here, launching in a day, Smol Batl from Dice the Lion, 1,000 people currently following it, and it's basically a less SEO-friendly version of Smol Batl, but it's Smol Batl instead. In this game, you have a two-player game. There's an expansion that's going to allow you to go up to 4 players. You're going to be having your dice, and you get to choose which dice an opponent places, and they choose where to place it, and then switch and go back and forth. So a little bit of control over yourself, a little bit of control over your opponent as you enact a Smol Batl. That'll be launching tomorrow. Then from there we have ZeroDay.exe. This is a relaunch from a canceled Kickstarter, from a canceled GameFound campaign. 1,000 people currently following the page, and this is a roguelike deck building dungeon crawler board game. Yes, all of those things together. There's the roguelite element. You'll be building up your character across multiple games, or even within the game. You'll have the deck building element because you're going to be utilizing your deck to choose how to, well, use your cards for any number of different actions. And then it's a dungeon crawler because you're going to be wandering around a board with your various characters, dealing with the various baddies as you try to survive the various missions you're going through. You can check out covers on the channel of this. I've already covered it before the last campaign, and you can check that out if you want to see my thoughts on it. From there we have Grave Trigger from Cardboard Dynamo. This is leaning more into a miniature kind of game, meaning there's tabletop games that have miniatures, and then there's miniatures games that have miniatures. This is going to be more in that miniatures game category. I do recommend, if you are interested in a bit of narrative, there's like a 5-minute right here on the screen over here, a 5-minute audio story that is actually pretty decent, that like pulls you in to a certain degree. If you're here for the narrative, that will pull you in. 827 people currently following this campaign, and then of course you can go through it and see what they got currently. Again, this is more miniatures, less board games, which is less my genre. Moving on over here, we have Dionysia over here. Craft a compelling drama to win the favor of the gods in this 1 to 2 player game from Buttonshy. 325 people currently following the campaign, launching on Tuesday, launching pretty soon, I guess that means, Dionysia from Buttonshy. We have Champions of Midgard 10th Anniversary Edition. This should also be launching on Tuesday, coming to you from Grey Fox Games. 1,500 people currently following the campaign, which I'm actually surprised that it's not higher, because Champions of Midgard has, well, first of all, 10-year Anniversary Edition, so it has 10 years under its belt. It has multiple expansions, it has well rated, tons of audience over the years for this game. This is going to be giving you a collector's edition of the game, new art across the board, upgraded components, a giant box crammed with everything, and supposedly they are only making this once. That's going to be Champions of Midgard. And the basic idea, by the way, this is, if I recall correctly, it's been a long time since I played this game, but if I recall correctly, I want to say it's dice placement, but it might not be. It might be worker placement. No, I think it's worker placement with lots of dice. You're prepping up your Vikings to go to battle as you gather all the various things you need, and then go roll dice and push your luck a little bit, trying to see how much you can stretch yourselves before possibly winning or losing in the battles in the game. Supposedly the expansions make it much better. I've only ever played the base game. I liked it, didn't necessarily love it, but I definitely liked it. That's Champions of Midgard. Moving on, we have Manhattan Project Energy Empire, another game coming back, but with very different artwork this time. The original Manhattan Project is probably the game that put Luke Laurie on the map, as far as it's designed by Luke Laurie and Tom Jolly. Probably the game that put Luke Laurie on the map as far as his worker placement with pullback turns mechanic. The idea that you constantly are placing out workers, but then when you pull back, you also get rewards, which was something that I don't think, I don't recall if it existed before Luke Laurie started started doing it, and it's become a trademark for, not trademark, it's become a what's the right word for it, something he does in all his games. What do you want to call that? That's a calling card, a Luke Laurie calling card, as it were. Obviously, he's responsible as well for Andromeda's Edge, so if you've enjoyed games like that, like Dwellings of Eldervale, this is the game that started it all, or at least I think so. Coming to you from Frostbite Games, previously Maple Games, they're rebranding over here, 1,700 people are following it, and this is the newer version of the game, launching again on Tuesday. Personally, the original Manhattan Project was a great game. The problem is I'm a sucker for the cartoon art style, and this is the new art style that they've been bringing in. They brought it in with Manhattan Project as well, from, I want to say from Colossal, so I'm not entirely sure. It feels like this game is bouncing around to a certain extent. I'm not as pulled in by this art. I love the original cartoony artwork, but I'm at least glad that those who have not had an opportunity to play it are getting a chance to check this one out. Moving on over here, we have the Megan 2.0 board game table from Geek & Son, another Tuesday campaign, launching with 3,500 people currently following the campaign. This is bringing you the Megan 2.0, which is kind of like a Megan 1.5, whatever you want to call it. It's the Megan, but streamlined, tweaks, new thingies, maybe new thingies, not entirely sure. This is an opportunity to go ahead and get a Megan table if you don't already have one, or to check out any of the things that Geek & Son is putting on this page. This is obviously a game table campaign, with all the usual bells and whistles you can expect to see, and also the usual price tags you can expect to see. Moving on over here, we have Companion Quest. This is something new and different coming to you from Ghostfire Gaming, who generally are known for their RPGs. They've done, I want to say, only one board game if I'm not mistaken. That was a much heavier one. This is a lighter board game, or at least perceptually it seems lighter. Companion Quest, tiny heroes on a big adventure. A 1 to 4 player, 20 to 30 minute game of, well, your tiny little heroes as you try to go ahead and get a fast playing game of dice rolling, tableau building, and combo creating. All of which sounds good. Obviously, the how the actual game is going to be everything, but the art's pulling me in, the general keywords, tableau building, dice drafting, all of that are intriguing, and now it's just time to actually play the game and see if it's something that I enjoy. That's going to be Companion Quest, currently with 2,000 people currently following the campaign, and launching again, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Habemus Papam from Salt and Pepper Games, probably the game on this entire list we're covering today that I know the least about. With 3 days to go, 3 days, 19 hours to go, although I guess technically you're watching this a little in advance, but we have 2,890 people currently following the campaign over here. Salt and Pepper Games consistently puts out well-rated, well-received games that are in these small boxes, relatively affordable, a little hard to get after the campaign, and this looks like the newest one, already with a decent following. Can't speak to the gameplay mechanics, although there is a rulebook that you can go ahead and check out. I just haven't done so. Then we have Nebula Drifters, The Lost Voyage over here. This is going to be another, again, either Tuesday or Wednesday campaign, I think Wednesday campaign. Nebula Drifters, The Lost Voyage, bringing you a kind of RPG-esque adventure, a cooperative adventure game for 1 or more players, well, 1 to 4 if I'm not mistaken, in which you're going to choose an adventure and then try to go ahead and survive across that adventure. There's going to be gear. You're going to be comboing up your gear in various ways. So you have your choose a quest, start the day, going through various events, travel through the world, explore unique locations, unlock difficult chambers, strategic combat, find items, combo those items, have fireside chats. So all of this just generally looks engaging, but very much leaning into a solo or cooperative adventure game. Then we have Marrakesh Gems and Experts coming to you from Queen Games, another Wednesday campaign. Queen Games bringing you Marrakesh back to your table in, well, the expansion number 2. They previously had Camels and Nomads, if not mistaken, of which I liked aspects of which. Didn't love the camel sideboard as much, one of the main mechanics, but I mean, it wasn't bad, it just didn't make the game better, it just made the game different, versus I like the concept of this expansion. I know nothing about the actual gameplay, but just Gems and Experts sounds great. I like Gems, I like Experts. Now the only question is what this will actually deliver as far as the gameplay experience. But we'll see. I'll go ahead and check it out. As usual, I always say this, I love Queen Games games. I usually am a bit more of a critic as far as their crowdfunding, always a little harder to follow all the various things they do. That said, they have me interested despite myself over here. We have Fate of Venterra, launching a week after, so this can be 11th of March, launching in another week out over here, coming to you from Corrosive Games. Fate of Venterra is kind of a semi-4X, maybe it's a 3X. I never really follow all the X's, but you're basically going to be expanding your empire on this board as you seek to possibly eliminate or just get domination over the other players. As you play 2 actions each round from your hand of 4 action cards, trying to figure out which combination of actions are going to help you grow faster, better, more defensively, or more offensively than the other players. So it's an economic area control game for 2 to 6 players, different strategies, endless customizations, all those fun keywords down below. Then we have over here launching another March 11th campaign coming to you from Arcona Games, who have done a bunch of things. They have the Magna Roma game, they have a lot of others, the Small Samurai game, a lot of other games they brought to the table. They have that big giant space opera game. But we have the Great Harbor, a game which you're going to be, well, trying to place your workers, place your dice, you're drafting dice, placing them down over here, constructing ships. You're going to utilize all these ships to perform the backbone of your trading fleet. You're going to have your voyage and trade, grow your colony, recruit people, all these fun things, but built on ultimately a dice drafting system. So you're going to have public dice, draft those dice, utilize them better than the other players. 1,000 people, well, 1,200 people currently following the campaign and launching March 11th. Then we have Formaggio, am I saying that right? Formaggio, from the people who brought you Fromage, as well as Canvas, that's Road to Infamy. We have 5,687 people currently following this campaign, and it's important to note, this is an expansion to Fromage, but it's a standalone expansion. So if you don't have Fromage, you can just get this game. Well, you could probably get Fromage too. I have to imagine they'll let you get Fromage on this campaign. I don't know for sure, but Fromage is a worker placement cheese game, where as you spin a wheel, the cheese will slowly orient back at you, and the longer you let a worker go on, or the more you time your workers when you get it back, I should say, but you're going to get these workers that come back to you at a certain point, and then you can go ahead and cash in on what you place them out in order to get the best rewards for them. There's a very interesting time mechanism as far as how the game goes, while giving you a lot of little avenues to try to place your little cheese workers in the game. I don't know much about Formaggio, but the fact that it's a standalone expansion that's combinable means we're probably going to see some of the same general ideas going on in the game, and just different, but the same. Different but the same. That's what we got over here. Different but the same. Then we have over here a few campaigns launching in backer kits. I think it's called Pocketopia. They have a bunch of Pocketopia games over here. I'm going to be covering 3 in a row, although one of them I'm not actually sure if it's part of Pocketopia. We'll see shortly. But we have over here, we have Hercules and the 12 Laborers coming to you from Born Games, who make a Confusing Lands, which is a game I thoroughly enjoy. They made other games too, just Confusing Lands is my favorite. But Hercules and the 12 Laborers is a solo challenge fit for a demigod of utilizing dice to try to accomplish the various challenges in the game. This will be launching as part of Backett's Pocketopia campaign, again on March 11th. We also have Widget's Workshop coming to you from Phase Shift Games. This is going to be in their drop line of games, and you're going to have various widgets on the board. Did I say widgets? Various widgets on the board that you're going to be placing down into this grid, trying to combine these widgets, so like kind of almost like a card crafting system going on here, where these widgets can overlay to build the best robots for you as you try to gather them for the center table. So a little bit of card crafting, a little bit of a galaxy trucker as far as gathering things from the table, all as you try to craft your best widgets. And then lastly, we have over here, we have Pond coming to you from Brother Ming Games. This is the person who made React, the hero battling game, so to speak. But Pond is a very different game, a game of adorable meeples, but also leaning a bit more into tableau building, asymmetric faction powers. Is going to be an area control deck builder for 2 to 4 players, featuring various frogs in a variety of ways, coming to you from Brother Ming Games. And again, I'm not sure if this is part of Polytopia, launching at the exact same time, so it might be, but we'll see. That's Pond launching on BackKit. Then from there we have Misfit Heroes. Speaking of card crafting, we have a little bit of card crafting over here, not from John D. Clear, but rather from Phil Walker Harding, along with AEG, bringing you a card crafting system. In the game, you're trying to build up your influence to take control of a variety of cities or to gain the favor of the citizens of a variety of cities, but you're going to start the game by crafting your heroes. This is a card crafting system. You're going to be literally crafting your heroes, overlaying acrylic cards to build your cards out before you dive into it. So a little bit of a pre-game setup to see who can build the best system, and then actually going through the system, the game itself, executing on that as you go through this. This is going to be launching on March 18th, so we're going to have a week later on this one. So the March 11th, we jump to the next Tuesday, or on, I guess, the 3rd Tuesday of March, 2nd Tuesday of March, whatever it is. Then we have Jarren's Outpost, another March 18th campaign. Jarren's Outpost is going to be coming to you from D&D is for Nerds. 1,200 people following the campaign over here. D&D is for Nerds is a content creator in the role-playing space, or more specifically the D&D for Nerds podcast. This is a game which basically the regime is left with no ruler, and now you're all competing to try to go ahead and take over. You can gain prestige in a mission-based programming game with resource management and dice-based combat. A lot of things sound interesting. In general, programming games can be a lot of fun. They can also be a lot of chaos, which I'm sure they're leaning into. I haven't actually played this one yet, but this one does sound interesting just from the various keywords they're throwing out there. Then we have 3 campaigns coming to you from Broken Mill. 891 followers on this one. 3 campaigns. Specifically, we have Phanerozoic over here, which is almost like a bunch of spirits, a tile placement game. We have World Stitchers, which is like, sorry, did I say that right? No, World Stitchers is the spirits and tile laying game. Phanerozoic is a competitive drafting and evolution simulation. And then over here we have Heroes of Tenefyr, which is a cooperative deck building dungeon crawling game. All 3 of these will be in a single campaign coming to you from Broken Mill. Then from there we have FlickFleet Box of Xenoflix coming to you from ZeroDay.exe Games. They generally have had their long line of FlickFleet games, and this is giving you new expansions to the Xeno War line of that genre. Then we have Starclash. Starclash coming to you from Ryan Williams. This is going to be launching, I believe I want to say, it's the 19th of March. This is going to have 500 people currently following the campaign, and Starclash is how do you even describe this? A tactical battle game which you're going to take control of vastly asymmetric factions. A little bit Cloudspire, but also very, very different. But you're going to have your chips over here. You're going to be exploring the board. You're going to be trying to recruit units. So there's a lot of tableau building going on, lots of building up your forces, launching into combat, and then being taken over by your opponents, or potentially being destroyed by your opponents, all while you fight for area control of the board, trying to take advantage of your unique faction and all their abilities better than the other players. So a little RTS kind of feel with a little bit of a Cloudspire dynamic. That's going to be Starclash. I haven't had a chance to play this. I really enjoyed the game so far. I plan on playing it more. I believe I plan on playing it more. I really enjoyed the game so far. That is Starclash from Ryan Williams. Then we have over here, we have Ozob, a Cyberpunk building game, another 20th of March campaign, or I think the last one was 19th, 20th of March over here, Ozob from Nonsense Creations. This already launched on their crowdfunding platform in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, and now they're coming to GameFound, where to a US audience. 8,000 people currently following the campaign. This is a giant dungeon crawler. Well, dungeon crawler, I think it's a dungeon crawler, not necessarily in theme, but in actual mechanics over here. Ultimately, you take control of a bunch of characters. You're going to go on these missions. You have these individual missions you're going through as you try to go on these tiles over here, using your characters, taking down the bad guys, and ultimately accomplishing what each mission wants you to do. You can check out a gameplay on the channel already, as well as a preview of the game, but basically if you like games like Zombicide, like Massive Darkness, is going to be very much leaning into that genre, just while bringing very much their own flavor to that genre and a whole lot of color. Then from there we have launching up, we have Onward's the MOBA game. This is going to be another 20th of March campaign. Onward is the newest version of Skytier from Skytier Games. This is basically coming to you, I don't even know when Skytier first came out, but this is their newest iteration of the system, streamlining it, making it more accessible, taking all the feedback they've taken over the years, and then just making it basically, hopefully, bringing you a better game. 7,000 people currently following the campaign, and this is what we got: purple miniatures, purple giant dragons over here. There's going to be a standee version of the game. There's going to be a miniatures version of the game, only on crowdfunding. It's going to have opportunity to utilize previous miniatures if you already have stuff from the previous content, and basically you're going to have heroes. You're going to craft your game and gather your heroes in this competitive card-driven MOBA style game, coming to you from Skytier Games, representing the latest evolution of, again, X number of years of Skytier. Then from there we have Rise of Myths Cthulhu. This is going to be launching March 25th, so now we are towards the end of the month over here. 7,000 people currently following this campaign, coming to you from Synergic Games, who previously did, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. They did that giant game. What was the giant game? They did, where are they? Rise of Mythos? Nope, not this, not that. Languages, Harakiri, there it is, Harakiri Blades of Honor. They're responsible for that giant the game, and this is going to be a much smaller game, focused more on a roguelike deck building experience. So if you like games like Slay the Spire, if you like games like Dead Cells, this is going to be leaning into that genre. You're going to have a roguelike deck building game where the goal isn't necessarily to win, or at least not at first, but over multiple games you'll eventually power up and build up and get stronger and be able to take down the various big bads in this universe. I've had a chance to play this one already, really enjoyed it, need to play it a bit more before I cover it, which I plan on. I will have coverage for you, but overall really enjoyed this one, which makes sense because I like games like Slay the Spire, and this very much has that feel, but in a very different universe with a lot of different mechanics. That's Rise of Myths Cthulhu from Synergic Games. Then we have, coming to the rear, we have Fear of the Dark from Interhuman Games, another March 25th campaign. This is giving you a solo push your luck tile laying game, which is a whole lot of words together, but sounds intriguing. Oh, horror solo push your luck tile building game. That's Fear of the Dark, 1,100 people currently following the campaign, and launching March 25th. And then second last over here, we have 2 campaigns to go. We have Titan Zero, aka TDO, which is Titan Defense Organization, from King Raccoon. I am curious if this actually will launch in March. I know this was supposed to launch way back when, but I believe currently it's supposed to launch in late March, so we'll see if that actually happens. This has been pushed off multiple times. I haven't had a chance to play this one. I overall enjoyed the game. The graphic design didn't pull me in quite as much, but the game I did enjoy. Kind of has a little bit of a King of Tokyo style vibe, but very, very, very different in terms of the actual gameplay mechanics. There's a lot of dice placement, and it's a very satisfying puzzle of trying to combine your dice with the various characters. It's all cooperative over here as you try to take down the various titans in the game. I thought it was really satisfying as far as the puzzle of it all, and then this is hopefully launching late March. And then lastly, we have a Village Attacks Grim Dynasty Reborn. This is a game that previously was with another company that unfortunately were not able to fill everything. Another person took it over, and we have 2,500 people currently following the campaign, and this is another opportunity to bring Village Attacks to life. I've had a chance to play the original game way back when. It's basically a castle defense game where you take on the role of the monsters as the various heroes try to come take you out, and you have to defend your castle from those rampaging heroes who have jumped to conclusions about your intent just because of the way you look. You might actually be a monster, but either way, you are trying to kill all the heroes who are trying to take you out. Anyways, that's basically the campaigns we have for the month of March. Again, regular reminder to go ahead and subscribe to Shelf Clutter for the most up-to-date information for more campaigns and all the news and changes and updates as things are pushed around, added, changed, removed entirely, all of that over on Shelf Clutter. As far as the picks of the month, in general, every month I do 3 picks on this page over here. I do the 3 games that I am most looking forward to. And coming in at number 3, let me just find this over here. Number 3 is, no, there we go. Number 3 is going to be Starclash. I really enjoyed my gameplay of Starclash. At the end of the day, the reason this is my number 3, even though it had really satisfying gameplay, is I am a sucker for art, graphic design, all of those things, and I do feel this could benefit from better in those areas, but overall the gameplay itself I thoroughly enjoyed, so this is going to be my number 3 pick. My number 2 pick is Onward, the MOBA card game from Skytier Games. I really enjoy Skytier, I really enjoy Skytier Hordes, and I'm looking forward to the changes they are bringing with Onward. And then my most anticipated is Rise of Myths Cthulhu. I had a lot of fun playing this one. It very much leans into the kind of experience that I like. I thought it was a lot of fun as far as just feeling powerful as a character while eventually being smacked down, only to power up through that rogue-like aspect in order to come out swinging stronger than ever before. And so this is my most anticipated for the month of March. And with that, that has been your upcoming campaigns for the month of March. That's been your upcoming campaigns for the month of March. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one. How do you spell hard water? Like, how do you spell hard water? ICE.